Welcome to Sundry Sports for Thursday, July 9th. Cowboys Wire, brought to you by USA Today, says, Cowboys News, Patrick to Prescott correlation, COVID protocols, Dez no call. Finally, they put something newish that they haven't run before in the top spot. Click on that. Patrick Mahomes' record-breaking deal with the Chiefs could either be a blessing or a curse for the Cowboys. In discussions with their franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott. We'll talk about that when we get down to it. Our own Katie Drummond deep dives into every aspect of the anticipated Prescott extension, including how the Mahomes mega deal impacts it. Jerry Jones' silence on the recent racial tensions in America has been headline news, and another Cowboy, the newly signed Dontari Poe, has just voiced his opinion on the issue involving the Dallas Cowboys owner. The NFL and the NFL Players Association have different plans for how the preseason should be handled. The NFL is ready to continue as planned, and the league has revealed to the teams the protocol for training camps to begin in late July. Plus, is Dez Bryant to Dallas a dead rumor? And is the kicker positional battle for the Cowboys closer than people think? All that and more here in the Cowboys News and Notes. Patrick Mahomes' new deal leads to Cowboys' Dak Prescott contract prediction. The Patrick Mahomes contract reset the quarterback market and set a new bar for the position. The Cowboys are the next team expected to sign their signal caller to a lofty extension, and the Mahomes deal may help lay some guidelines for the next Prescott contract. Our own Katie Drummond inspects every aspect of the Cowboys and Prescott's discussions. And I've talked about this before, but in my opinion, this is completely stupid. I don't think that this should set a new bar for the position as a whole. I think that Patrick Mahomes should be an outlier because he is a Super Bowl winner, and there really aren't many Super Bowl winners playing at the moment, are there? I mean, there's a lot more that aren't Super Bowl winners than are, who are active at the moment. Anyway, and I mean, look at Tom Brady. He has multiple Super Bowls, and clearly he doesn't have the richest contract of all, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes. Anyway, I think that this should be an outlier. I think that it has nothing to do with Dak Prescott whatsoever. And I really wish that people wouldn't say that it does. I wish that it wouldn't have any effect on negotiations. I'm sure it probably will, because everybody is stupid and everything is stupid, but I don't think that it should. Because Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes are not comparable. If you compare them, then Dak Prescott is a big loser and worth a lot less. Does he want to be compared to Patrick Mahomes? Just to rehash what I've said before, just in case anybody is actually listening and doesn't know. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl winner. Being a Super Bowl winner means also that you won playoff games, also that you won most of your regular season games. Dak Prescott, not Super Bowl winner, has won, 2 or 3 playoff games in his entire career so far. And last season, which is supposedly his best, going by just his stats, we didn't even make it to the playoffs. We couldn't even win more than half of our regular season. I don't remember the exact record, but it was either right at half or just below or just above. It was super average, is what I'm saying, and that's not big money contract worthy. All right? That's what I'm saying. There should be no comparison. 5 questions as the Dak deal deadline nears. As of now, Dak Prescott will play the 2019-20 season on the franchise tag. I think you mean 2020-21 season on the franchise tag. This is 2020, y'all. The mothership has forgotten what year it is. That's what a sucky year it is. You just forget. Pretty hard to forget. July 15th is a date that means a lot in regards to the contract deliberations, and that deadline is a lot closer than it was when Prescott was first franchise tagged by the Cowboys. Why is that? Why is July 15th important now that he's signed the franchise tag? It should be, hey, we got him for another year. Let's see how he does this year. The onus should be on him to prove himself worthy. And that deadline is a lot closer than it was when Prescott was first franchise tagged by the Cowboys. Learn more about the potential outcomes of the negotiations between the Cowboys and Prescott. Cowboys Dontari Poe to Jerry Jones. We need to know we have your support. And I read about this the other day. The Dallas Cowboys put out a statement on racial injustice a few weeks ago, but owner Jerry Jones has refrained from putting out a personal statement. It seems odd for the most outspoken owner in American sports to be this quiet on a topic this important. And Dontari Poe is the latest Cowboy to question Jones about his silence. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It is so arrogant to be demanding support from everybody. Absolutely everybody has to be behind you, vocally supporting you. I cannot fathom the arrogance, the gall. It's just so annoying. Who is the best route runner in the NFL? Our choices are Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Michael Thomas. I don't know. NFL and NFL Players Association fight over preseason games just getting started because it looked so good when the MLB did it, when Major League Baseball did it. Both the NFL and the NFL Players Association want, and this is even more petty than that. Both the NFL and the NFL Players Association want the season to play out as planned, but there are differing opinions on how much of the preseason should be played. Our own Todd Brock reports on how the players want the preseason handled, according to NFLPA President J.C. Trotter, and how that compares to the recent statements from the league office. Why is the Players Association getting such a big say? Why is it important what the Players Association thinks? Obviously, not all members of the Players Association, since the president isn't. I'm pretty sure the president is not an active player, so it doesn't seem like the Players Association probably really represents all players. Anyway, the NFL should be the one that has the final say. And I think just 2 preseason games is a perfectly fine compromise. This is just petty. Super petty. Why a Dez Bryant reunion with the Cowboys is not a real possibility. The Cowboys' 4th wide receiver is still a question mark, and Dez Bryant wants to return to Dallas for a smaller role than he once had. Does he? How do we know that? So why is the reunion seeming unlikely? Matt Holloran from blogging The Boys discusses some reasons that are keeping Bryant on the market. Well, I'm sure he probably wants more money than we can pay right now. And not necessarily unrightly. I don't know how much he wants, but he should be worth quite a bit. NFL sends COVID-19 protocols for camp and preseason to clubs. A meaty and sobering 40-page document has hit the inboxes of all 32 NFL teams, outlining everything from laundry procedures and media access to player testing and symptom monitoring guidelines. Lovely. A tweet from Tom Pelissero. Colts quarterback Phillip Rivers raised a big question on NFLPA call Friday. If a player tests positive for COVID-19 during Super Bowl week but is asymptomatic, would he have no choice but to sit? Answer was yes, but if he later has 2 negative tests 24 hours apart, he could be cleared. But asymptomatic. If a player is actually truly asymptomatic, then he is, per the WHO, extremely unlikely to transmit the disease. And good Lord, I sincerely hope that this shit is not still going on during the Super Bowl week. Please let this end. According to the CDC, recently we are on the cusp of COVID-19 not actually being considered an epidemic anymore. There was a caveat that they're expecting more death certificates to be processed. But still, the fact that we are close to that, this really should end very soon. Nationals cancel practice because of testing delays. In an MLB development that merits watching by the NFL, the Washington Nationals canceled their Monday practice session after the results of COVID tests taken on Friday, promised within 24 hours, were still unknown as of Monday morning. That's weird. It's a troubling omen for the prospect of bringing sports back in the current climate. There is no reason why a crop of tests should not be done by within Friday, Saturday, Sunday, within 4 days. That's weird. What lab are they using? Obviously, they should change labs. Film room. Who is the better Cowboys cornerback, Jordan Lewis or Anthony Brown? Anthony Brown has more experience, right? I think Jordan Lewis is newer, right? John Owning went into this head-to-head examination thinking he knew who the better corner was. Yeah, Anthony Brown has a lot more. Yeah, Jordan Lewis is a lot newer than Anthony Brown. While his film study leads him to find that the two are much closer than the other side's fans will lead you to believe, Owning changes his mind and gives the former Wolverine the slightest of nods over the ex-Boilermaker. And because I really don't give a shit what colleges people come from, I have no idea who is who. Oh well. Mailbag. Are we writing off Forbath too soon? The signing of Greg Zuerlein and his reunion in Dallas with new special teams guru John Fassel was big news. But don't pack Kai Forbath's bags quite yet. No, he was all right last year. He was perfect in 3... Oh, exactly. He was perfect in 3 games as a Cowboy last year, and at this position, consistency routinely beats name recognition. We love us some consistency. When you're used to Dan Bailey at his best. Apparently he's not at his best anymore. But when you're used to Dan Bailey at his best, yeah, you love some consistency. That's all for that now. NFLPA discussing player opt-outs. No Cowboys as of yet. Okay, so they're discussing players being absolute yellow cowards. The current COVID-19 panic has altered any and all normal protocol when it comes to preparing for an NFL season. In the next 20 days, I guess that's when they'll be discussing those player opt-outs. More playing time for the ones that are actually dedicated to their craft. So, fine. Ravens announce attendance cap. That's what it should have been from the beginning. There should not have been any lockdown. There should not have been forced quarantine. The people that wanted to opt out of their daily lives should have been able to do so. Work from home as much as you can. there wouldn't have had to be so much stimulus money spent. There still could have been stimulus money for those, maybe a little bit, but since it's their choice, then anyway, just erase the stimulus talk. That's a possibility, but whatever. Anyway, it should always have come down to personal choice. It should always have been personal responsibility. You are liable for your own health. That's what it should have been from the very beginning. But, they had to take the utmost of liberal responses, which, I've learned in the past years, liberality is sometimes a good thing if it's not being warped by radical leftism, but the bleeding heart response of everybody has to stay home to protect everybody. It's not about your own health. It's about keeping everybody safe. It's about you have to worry about all these other people. So that's just that looking at it that way takes away everybody's personal liberty. And that's not okay. I don't care about your stupid emotions. It was never supposed to be that we're going to keep all these people from getting sick and dying. It was that we're going to just make it take longer. We're going to make it a little slower. But that got warped by people's emotions. So now you're a terrible, awful, hateful person if you want to resume your daily life because you don't care about all those people you might be affecting. Those people that are afraid of being affected by others should be the ones staying home. They should be the ones choosing to stay home, and the ones that don't want to stay home should be let out. And yes, there's mostly reopenings now, so I'm not just talking about being let out of your house. I'm also, at this point, talking about being let out from behind their fucking mask, because I am so over this mask shit. Anyway, where was I? Personal responsibility. You took away the country's liberty by just overlooking the possibility of personal responsibility and making it all about the collective good. When in fact, I've talked before on other times about how if we hadn't kept all the healthy people home, all the people who are very likely not going to die if they catch this, all of those people didn't get it because they stayed home. And if they had been able to go about their business, whatever, they'd gotten it, they weathered it, they didn't die because they're healthy, then they have the antibodies, then we achieve the herd immunity that apparently Sweden has, and whatever other countries didn't do a full lockdown. Then, in this second wave with these new spikes, our achieved herd immunity would possibly be protecting some of the people that have died in this second wave. Maybe we would have less deaths. Anyway, moving on. Ravens announce attendance cap for 2020. What about Cowboys? As the NFL plods forward with their plans to hold a 2020 regular season in the middle of a global panic, the focus, rightfully so. Whatever. I'm so sick of this Dontari Poe shit. How are you gonna be completely new to a team? Haven't even played a single snap for the team yet. Presumably haven't even built up any rapport with your coaches and your teammates due to this whole shit. How are you gonna be that? And that just piles on to the arrogance. You're gonna demand support from your new general manager, your new team owner, without ever having proved yourself at all with this team. That is insufferable. Brad's deals. Up to 80% off every day. Spring clearance sales. Shop now. More headlines. Cowboys Ezekiel Elliott over COVID. Okay, good. Oh, see, look, he didn't die. Shocking, I know. Donates $85,000 to families in need. That's nice. Cowboys face masks. Go fuck yourself. Gallimore. NFL and NFLPA are going full MLB. Although even more petty, as I said. Cowboys to hold 2020 training camp at home instead of Oxnard. Yes, not news because the NFL told everybody to hold their training camp at home. Cowboys news. McCarthy faces several challenges. Looney looking to step up again. And that was from mid last week, I think. All right, that's it for the Cowboys. Moving along to the ESPN Daily. Good morning. If yesterday was important because it was the 10-year anniversary of the decision, today is equally so because it marks 10 years since we realized Dan Gilbert really wrote a breakup letter to LeBron in Comic Sans. Times New Roman or bust. Here's your ESPN Daily. Okay, Ms. Font Supremacist. That was a joke. Inside McCormaker's HBCU decision. 5-star basketball recruit Makur shocked the recruiting world with his decision to commit to Howard University in Washington, D.C. That makes him the highest profile prospect in recent memory to choose an HBCU. That's historically black college or university. In his first interview since the announcement, McCord joins today's episode of the ESPN Daily podcast to explain his decision and discuss its significance with Pablo Torre. Excuse me. Then, Howard coach Kenny Blakeney talks about how he has built the program at Howard, along with the landscape for athletics across HBCU programs. I don't understand why this is such a shock. How did the whole college football landscape become so mountainous with this? Like, this group of colleges is way up here on the peaks of the football mountain, and then these other colleges are down here in the valleys. Why did it become that way? Because of incentives that colleges are able to offer? The richer colleges? I don't know. Things to care about. Emily Cave. My life with Colby Cave. Who? Colby and Emily Cave had been married for 9 months when the hockey season paused due to the coronavirus panic. I like hockey, but I don't know shit about it. They returned to Canada, but because Colby was playing for Bakersfield at the time, the Oilers' AHL, American Hockey League, affiliate in California, the couple had to quarantine for 14 days after crossing the border. Since Emily's parents' house in Ontario has a basement apartment, their plan was to stay there in quarantine. It wasn't how they imagined their first year of marriage going, but they were just grateful to be together. On April 6th, everything was normal until Colby began complaining of a severe headache. His pain became worse during the night. By the time an ambulance arrived in the morning, he was hypothermic and completely unresponsive. Hypothermic? Colby was airlifted to Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto and underwent surgery to remove a colloid cyst from his brain. Emily wasn't allowed to be with him for any of it. Within 14 hours of Colby first saying he had a headache, she was told her 25-year-old husband was on life support. In the days since Colby died, he died. Emily has struggled to process what happened to her husband, but what she knows for sure is that she's determined to continue honoring his legacy, one of kindness and helping others. Emily explained that every morning they had a mantra they would say to each other: be somebody that makes everybody feel like a somebody. Isn't that lovely? That's how Colby lived, and even though he's no longer physically with her, Emily knows he is giving her strength to continue to inspire and help other people. World Series favorite Tampa Bay Rays? David Schoenfield is riding with the Tampa Bay Rays in a big way. He sees pendants. He sees glory. Assuming we do play baseball and get through 60 games and the playoffs without cancellation, Schoenfield is convinced the Rays will be the last team standing. While I can't join him on this crusade because of my affinity for the team that currently holds the title, I can acknowledge the validity of his argument and thus hear the man out. Picking the Rays isn't really an outlandish choice, seeing as they made the playoffs last year and nearly upset the Astros in the American League Division Series. Tampa Bay is a good team with terrific depth throughout its 40-man roster, or really throughout its 60-man summer camp roster. It has been moving in the right direction from 6 wins, that's probably 60-something, in 2016 to 80 to 90 to last year's 96. It has a core of young veterans, and most importantly, perhaps, it has 3 starters. Young veterans seems like an oxymoron in the case of athletes, but maybe not. And most importantly, perhaps, it has 3 starters in the pitching rotation who can stack up with anybody in the majors: Charlie Morton, Blake Snell, and Tyler Glasnow. If, like me, are all aboard the "it's really going to come down to pitching depth in the shortened season" train, you might be interested to know the Rays have that aspect covered too, and a stacked bullpen to boot. Tampa Bay Rays 2020 World Series champs. You heard it here first, but still, go Nats. Things to watch. Wilbon. This is not tolerable. Michael Wilbon did not mince words when responding to Steven Jackson's comments defending Deshaun Jackson's alarming social media posts. Yeah, I read about that yesterday. The former NBA player said the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver was speaking the truth with his posts, which included an anti-Semitic message that he attributed to Adolf Hitler. Speaking the truth with a Hitler quote that was actually not said by Hitler. It undermines everything Steven Jackson said so eloquently on behalf of Black Lives Matter, Wilbon said. He has no credibility now. Ja rules. Ja Morant stays winning on and off the court. The Memphis Grizzlies star and Rookie of the Year frontrunner showed love for his dad by gifting him a brand new car. There really is nothing like giving back to your parents. Not speaking from personal experience per se, but I can imagine. Overheard. I didn't understand how to read defenses until like halfway through 2018. I was just playing Patrick Mahomes via HBO's The Shop. That's endearing. Remember when? It's all fun and games until somebody gets headbutted on the pitch. On this date in 2006, Francis's Zinedine Zidane. What is that? Zinedine Zidane headbutted Italy's Marco Materazzi in the World Cup final, saying that Materazzi had repeatedly insulted him during the match. Zidane would be issued a red card and miss the penalty shootout, which Italy won 5-3 to capture the title. Until next time, remember, it's hard to think that this time a year ago we were busy basking in the glow of an epic home run derby duel that saw Vlad Jr. and Jock Peterson take the second round into 3 tiebreaker swing-offs. Guerrero set the record for most home runs in a derby before the final round even began, and Pete Alonso become the first Mets player to claim the title since Darryl Strawberry was a co-champion in 1986. Hurry back, baseball. This has been your ESPN Daily for Wednesday, July 9th, 2020. All right. Thank you, ESPN. Next up, Yahoo Sports, Read and React. Brought to you by Yahoo Sports. Trending. Here's the approved list of sports Patrick Mahomes' contract allows him to play outside football. Probably golf, ping pong, maybe tennis. 49ers running back Raheem Mostert requests trade. Steven Jackson doubles down on defense of Deshaun Jackson's Hitler quote. Oh my goodness. Deshaun Jackson completely prostrated himself in repentance of that, and yet this guy is doubling down on defending him. Okay. Kawhi did not travel with Clippers to Orlando. The lead. Whoa, Domino. Good morning. Remember back to the early days of the coronavirus when the Ivy League canceled its men's basketball tournament and got ripped for being too cautious, only to have the rest of the sports world shut down a few days later? Yeah, well, the Ivy League just shut down sports until January 1st. Excuse me? No football or soccer or anything else this fall. In the spring, maybe. And basketball, hockey, and other sports will miss the non-conference part of the season, if not more. That alone is a scheduling nightmare. That sucks for those students. So is this the first domino to fall in college football? Maybe. But before you break into a cold sweat, also maybe not. The Ivy League is not the Big Ten or the SEC. Football is a small part of the collegiate experience at those 8 schools, all of which lose money by fielding a team. It's a great tradition. Yale and Princeton have played 142 times since 1873, but it's not Alabama. At the Power 5 level, it's completely different. They don't just make money off football, they need the money they make off football. There are payrolls to meet and debt service on facilities to knock out and entire athletic departments to fund. The leagues own their own cable networks, and there are millions of fans and alums who want to see the teams. The will to play is there. Is there a way? They have plans set up to try. If possible, the big schools will find it. It's easy to pull the plug on something that isn't a priority. Major college football is the priority. So don't panic about this IB announcement. At least, not yet. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this mountain that is really a molehill. That's what I'm tired of. It's blown way out of proportion. Game plan. Robinson. Eagles set a flawed precedent with Riley Cooper. Who dat? Wetzel. This douchebag. Why Stanford cutting sports is bad news for college athletics. Busby. Redskins quietly not funding own Native American charity. Okay. The kicker. Fire Festival 2.0. Looks like the NBA tapped Ja Rule to cater its Orlando bubble. Dinner time, and the bubble begins. Hey, that looks a lot more appetizing than that shitty sandwich at Fire Festival. Thanks for reading today's issue of Read and React. Follow Yahoo Sports on social. And that's it for today. That's it for Sundry Sports. Thank you and goodbye.